Imagine moving into your dream home. A quiet neighborhood. Friendly neighbors. A sense of peace. Now imagine that dream turning into your worst nightmare. A nightmare filled with disembodied voices, floating furniture, and an invisible force that attacks without warning. Welcome to one of the most terrifying real-life hauntings in American history, the exorcism of the Tallman ghosts. In today's chilling documentary, we dive deep into a paranormal case that shook the quiet town of Horicon, Wisconsin, in the late 1980s. We will examine first-hand accounts, explore the sinister events that plagued the Tallman family, and reveal what really happened behind those cursed walls. Was it demonic? Was it psychological? Or something far more complex? Let's begin. The Tallman family and the move-in. It all began in 1986 when Alan and Debbie Tallman moved into their modest home with their 3 children. The house was located on Larrabee Street, nestled in a tranquil, blue-collar neighborhood. At first, life was peaceful. But peace is often just the calm before the storm. The trouble started soon after they brought home a secondhand bunk bed and placed it in one of the children's bedrooms. They had bought it for a good price, not knowing they had just welcomed something deeply malevolent into their home. The first signs of something wrong. The first incidents were subtle. Objects seemed to move slightly on their own. The children complained of strange dreams and an uneasy feeling in their room. At first, the Tallmans dismissed these events as imagination or perhaps a minor sleep disorder. But things escalated quickly. The radio in the room would turn on by itself, and strange voices came through the static. Doors would slam shut with no one nearby. The family would hear footsteps when no one was there. But perhaps the most horrifying moment was when the bunk bed seemed to glow with an unnatural light. Escalation and fear takes hold. The fear grew worse. One of the children reported seeing a red-eyed entity standing in the bedroom. Another child was thrown across the room by an invisible force. Debbie began hearing a voice telling her to get out. Even Alan, who was a strong, practical man, could not deny the events unfolding in his home. One night, Alan witnessed a fog-like shape moving through the house. His children screamed in terror, claiming the entity was in the room with them. A toy car flew off a shelf and hit the wall. That was the breaking point. Reaching out for help. Unable to endure the torment, the Tallmans turned to their local pastor. After visiting the home, the pastor himself admitted to sensing a dark presence. He recommended that the family reach out to clergy experienced in spiritual warfare. A team of ministers visited the house and began to pray, attempting to bless each room. But the entity did not respond kindly. One minister became violently ill during the prayer session. Another heard a deep growl while trying to cleanse the children's room. The exorcism attempt. An exorcism was arranged. The ritual began late at night, with candles, sacred texts, and a group of clergy surrounding the cursed bunk bed. The ministers prayed for hours, reading from the Bible, sprinkling holy water, and demanding that the entity leave. The temperature in the room reportedly dropped. One candle extinguished itself despite no draft. A mirror shattered. One minister claimed he saw a dark shadow crawling up the wall. But the most terrifying moment came when a loud, guttural scream echoed through the house, shaking the walls. When the ritual ended, the house fell into an eerie silence. The ministers declared the house cleansed. But was it? Aftermath and public reaction. After the exorcism, the Tallmans decided they couldn't stay in the house. They moved out shortly afterward, taking only what they needed. The infamous bunk bed was destroyed and burned in a controlled fire. The story spread quickly. News crews arrived. The police confirmed that officers who had visited the home had experienced strange things they couldn't explain. The Tallmans refused media interviews, but neighbors spoke of the fear that had gripped their entire street. The house was sold. The new owners never reported any paranormal activity. Some say the haunting had followed the bunk bed. Others believe the exorcism was successful. But the scars remained. Possible explanations. Skeptics argue the events could be explained by mass hysteria, sleep paralysis, or a series of coincidences. But others point to the sheer number of witnesses, including children, adults, police, and clergy, all reporting consistent phenomena. Could it have been a poltergeist? A demonic entity? Or was the bunk bed simply a cursed object, carrying a dark past? Cultural impact and media attention. The case eventually drew national attention. It was featured in an episode of Unsolved Mysteries in 1988. The Tallman house became a topic of conversation in paranormal circles across the country. It also inspired numerous fictional stories, often exaggerating or reimagining the events. But at its core, this was a real family's nightmare. Similar cases and patterns. Interestingly, other cases have reported similar phenomena after the introduction of secondhand furniture. In some cultures, it's believed that certain objects can carry spiritual attachments. Could this explain the events in Horicon? Or was this simply an isolated incident? We examine other notable cases of haunted objects, comparing timelines, psychological responses, and outcomes. Many patterns begin to emerge, suggesting this might not be a standalone occurrence. The Tallman haunting remains one of the most disturbing modern hauntings on record. The details, the witnesses, and the emotional impact on the family all point to a very real and terrifying experience. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the psychological trauma experienced by the Tallman family is undeniable. But many questions still remain. What do you think really happened in the Tallman house? Was it truly a demonic presence? Or could it have been a psychological breakdown triggered by stress and suggestion? Have you ever brought something into your home that gave off a strange vibe? Do you believe objects can carry spiritual energy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. If you found this story chilling and thought-provoking, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with friends. Your support helps us bring more real paranormal cases to light. And who knows, maybe the next story we tell will be about something you've experienced yourself. Until next time, stay safe, and remember, sometimes, the most ordinary things can hide the darkest secrets.